Shavua Tov, Mishnah Yomi today is in chapter 1 of Eduyot, Mishnayot 8 and 9. Karshine trumah. Now remember, trumah is the tithe that is given to the Kohanim, and it can be used by them for food purposes only when it's tahor, only when it's pure, not if it becomes impure. And we actually had this same Mishnah back in Meiser Sheni, chapter 2, but that was a few years back. And what we're dealing with here is not regular human food like wheat or barley, but karshinim. Now, karshinim is vetch, and it's typically used to feed animals with. If people are really, really hungry, they could eat it, but it's primarily animal food, so it's treated a bit more leniently when it comes to allowing it to possibly contact impurity. So Beit Shammai Omrim, Beit Shammai, the Academy says, shorin v'shofin b'tahara. You must soak it to make it soft and also rub it, like rub off the klipa, like the outer layer, to get it ready to eat or smooth it out. B'tahara, only when your hands are pure. Umachilin betuma, but you can feed it to the animals even if your hands are not pure. Now, when we think about pure hands, we think about al natilas yadayim before bread, and that's exactly what we're talking about. The whole reason we wash our hands before eating bread is because yadayim askaniot, hands touch all sorts of things, even areas that could have dirt or tuma or issues. So as a reminder that the Kohanim have to be very careful to wash their hands before eating trumah, all of us, even non-Kohanim, wash our hands before eating bread. Now, Beit Hillel Omri, Beit Hillel disagrees with Beit Shammai. They say shorin b'tahara. Indeed, you have to soak it and to soften it in water with pure hands, because of course wet items can be mekabel tuma. The water makes items like foodstuff ready to be mekabel tuma, to accept impurity from unwashed hands. You have to wash your hands before putting the produce into water. V'shafin amachlin betuma, but you can rub it and feed it to the animals in a state of non-washed hands. Shammai Omer, again, Shammai brings a different opinion than Beit Shammai. He says, Ya'achlu tsorid. They should be eaten while they're still dry, meaning you shouldn't soak it at all. Because again, once produce gets wet with 7 specific liquids, one of them, of course, being water, then it is mekabel tuma. It can accept ritual impurity from other things. So here, even though it's animal food, Beit Shammai himself says it should never be soaked and never have the option of tuma, because people do confuse this food with human food, and we do not want people doing that. Finally, Rabbi Akiva Omer, Rabbi Akiva says, Kol ma'asehim betuma. Everything with vetch, which is animal food, can be done with unwashed hands, because people so rarely eat this stuff that no one's going to confuse this with real human food. So we see that Shammai and Rabbi Akiva are the extreme opinions to be Machmir and Mekel, and the other opinions were in the middle. Now on to Mishnah 9. Haporet sela, someone basically uses pruto to change for a sela. Prutot are very small coins like copper pennies, and he's getting a larger silver coin, mimayot meiser sheni, and he's doing with the meiser sheni money. Now remember, this Mishnah is also in Meiser Sheni chapter 2. If you have a lot of Meiser Sheni produce, you could redeem it onto coins and bring the coins into Yerushalayim and spend them there on food. And so too, if you have a lot of small change that you've redeemed Meiser Sheni produce onto, you could convert that into a larger denominational coin, a silver coin, and take that to Yerushalayim to lighten the load. So in such a case, Beit Shammai Omrim Bekola Sela Maut. You can trade in all of your little copper pennies for a big silver sela and lighten the load. Beit Hillel Omrim Beshekel Kesef Beshekel Maut. But Hillel says half of the amount, shekel being half a sela, so half of the amount, he says, you should get silver coinage, and half of it you should keep as small change. You can use the small change to buy a falafel in Yerushalayim. And the idea here is that if everyone converted all of their money into large denomination silver coins, and then they go in Yerushalayim and they want to buy a falafel for $5, and everyone's got $100 bills, no one's got $5 bills and $1 bills, then you'll have a situation where people are reluctant to take the $100 bills because they want the small denominations to buy practical everyday items. So the value of the small denominations, we're talking about coins with intrinsic metal value, that value will go up, and Meiser Sheni will suffer a financial loss. You'll have slightly less buying power if everybody's bringing big silver coins instead of a mix of big silver coins and smaller denomination currency. Rabbi Meir Omer, and Rabbi Meir is adding a slightly different halacha here. Ein mechololin kesef upeirot ala kesef. We can't combine silver, like coinage, and produce of Meiser Sheni onto a more valuable coin. Rabbi Meir's idea here being, if you had a shekel of produce and a shekel of coinage, you couldn't redeem that onto a sela and bring the sela to Yerushalayim instead. The Chachamim Matzirim, but the sages actually allow mixing coinage and peyrot as long as you're going to bring it to Yerushalayim and spend it on food there. Shkoyach Shavuot Tov.